Exciting. Went to Captain's Quarters the other day. We got a nice little pink bow tie. It's looking snazzy.
Sick.
Hey Trojans, welcome back to Front and Central. I'm Fielding Schaefer.
And I'm Greg Haggerty. Today, we'll be covering a local fashion designer
and learning about the sophomore class's recent mock interviews. We'll also cover this past week of Trojan sports.
May 26th is the last day of school for seniors, and it's also the last day for you to sign up for classes at NMC for the 2017 fall semester. And today is the last day for you to talk to your counselor about NMC's German 101 class. No experience necessary. Also, Lakeside Leisure blankets are still available and still awesome. So make sure you pick up one of those if that's something you're interested in. And speaking of interest, local fashion designer and businesswoman Anina stopped by Mrs. Rutt's How to Start a Business class last Friday to show students how to get into a business of their own.
Couture designer, 35 years experience, can make the most incredible clothes. Together with Bruce Bateman, who is he makes wearables for the military. I mean, the guy can do almost anything, right? But you put them together and they make Frankenstein. And I walk in the room and I'm like, robotic dress. Guys, robotic dress, change shape. You got it? Okay, I'm going to do 1,000 other things, right? I come back and they made a hippo. They put all the servo motors on the hips. What woman wants to have big fat hips? I was like...
It was a really interesting take on developing a product. So we considered incorporating her technology into the blanket, and we wanted to see if that would be possible. And so we considered that. And it was also really interesting to see someone taking a product that everyone knows and that is pretty standard, and then making it really customized. So taking it and making it her own and making it different, making it into something that no one's seen before.
So I started out as an international top model. I've been in Paris, London, New York, Milan, lived all over the world, 150 different places, on the covers of magazines, etc.
Yeah, I really like her spirit and her drive to be adventurous and do things that may not be really not risky. She takes some risks that are really interesting, and she's definitely doing something that's not standard and something that definitely isn't assured to be successful. So
projecting them at the ground so that when the girls are walking, there's actually lighting patterns preceding them as they're walking around. So then suddenly your fashion environment becomes bigger than the physical piece of clothing. So from what I understood from your product is, this is a product for somebody who's going to the beach for the 4th of July, and then they lay out and they have a really portable way to take a blanket with them, right? And then when they're done, it folds up and they can go.
There will be a free bubble soccer tournament on Monday, May 15th from 6 to 8 p.m. in the new gym. There will be 16 teams total with 4 players per team. Team name and player sign-up will be outside of the weight room. All grades are welcome. Last Thursday morning, the library was closed to accommodate the sophomore class's mock interviews. These were the sophomore class's SLC, which is a graduation requirement.
So the teachers have been working with them for about the past month, helping them put together a resume, working on interview tips with them, things we just talked about. But also, as they come in today, we have about 35 people from the community, all kinds of professions, from golf courses and restaurants to medicine and education, so runs the gamut. So the kids come in and really randomly choose someone to sit down with, and then they sit down for about a 15-minute interview, and the people walk them through, ask them questions, coach them on things, tell them what they can do, what they excelled in, what they can do better.
I think that it's important that it gives us a little bit of real-life experience, because it prepares teenagers for jobs that we are hoping to get, so that we can make money for college or for our own enjoyment for different things.
I think it's a great requirement. Kids in general are very ill-prepared to leave the nest and go out into the world, and dry practice runs where there's nothing to lose is only going to help them in the future.
Great work, sophomores. Our students are doing well, but how could we talk about students without shouting out our hard-working CHS staff? Last week was Staff Appreciation Week at Central. You may have written an admiration note to a favorite staff member. To conclude the week, the Central staff hosted a special breakfast to commemorate themselves and their hard work. Prom is here, everybody. If you haven't already bought them, tickets are being sold 3rd, 4th, and 5th hour in Miss Brunick's room C217. They are $40. Juniors and seniors, check your student emails for a form to submit song requests. And for the seniors, also check your email to vote for Prom King and Queen. The form is open until 3 p.m. today. CHS students must have their school ID to enter the dance. All non-CHS students must have a valid photo ID to enter, and all non-CHS students or underclassmen attending prom must have permission slips submitted for approval to the main office ASAP, no later than Thursday, end of the day. Doors will open at 8 o'clock and close at 9:30. If you leave the premises, you won't be let back in, so make sure you bring all your necessary belongings with you.
There will be a senior class meeting for all seniors, including exchange students receiving an honorary diploma this year on Tuesday, May 16th during first hour in the auditorium. Principals and counselors will review obligations and requirements for graduation. Student Senate will be providing breakfast. Seniors should check in with their first hour teacher, then go immediately to the auditorium. Moreover, counselors will be presenting on the college application process on Wednesday, May 17th during sixth hour in the auditorium. The presentation will include a panel of recent CHS graduates. They're inviting and encouraging all juniors to attend. Juniors should check in with their sixth hour teacher, then go immediately to the auditorium. Also, Central Music Night is on the 26th, and they need student musicians to lend their talents to the show. If you're interested, shoot an email to shepherdcall41@tcapstudent.net. Now, to your favorite sports anchor, Jack Boyce, on the weekly update on Trojan athletics.
In sports news, our tennis team faced the Northmen of Petoskey for the third and final time this season earlier this week. The Trojans were looking to remain unbeaten against the Northmen of Petoskey. Before the event started, there was a ceremony honoring the sudden passing of the Northmen's varsity coach. Players from Central offered blue and white flowers to respected players from Petoskey, and Coach Larry Nykirk offered a $400 check to the Petoskey tennis program in the coach's honor. The final results were in the Trojans' favor, with 6 total flights taking the W over Petoskey, 1, 2, and 3 singles and doubles best the Northmen, with the Northmen only taking 2 flights, which was 4 singles and 4 doubles. Our softball and baseball teams made the trip to Cadillac on Tuesday, with our softball team splitting with the Vikings with a score of 11-7 in the first game and 3-6 in the second. Olivia Fiebing is still recording stats at a record pace, allowing only 11 hits and 5 strikeouts in the first game, and allowing another 5 hits and 2 strikeouts in the second. The girls' next game was on Thursday against Ludington, so check back next week for coverage of our softball team. The baseball team made easy work of the Vikings from Cadillac, sweeping the boys with scores of 11-1 and 18-8, improving their record to 3-3 in the BNC. The boys have a busy weekend starting on Friday when they host Grand Blanc, and then the Trojans host the Central Classic on Saturday. Our girls' soccer team looked east to Gaylord to play the Blue Devils on Tuesday, beating them with a score of 2-1. Annie Fraze and Rebecca Cotton pad their stats with 1 goal apiece, and Abby Puckett records an assist as well. Abby Weckler recorded 5 saves, and Anna Carty recorded 3. This week's Trojans Athletes of the Week are Katie Ferguson and Dana Flukeft of our girls' soccer team, so if you see these ladies around town, make sure you give them a high five. This concludes Front and Central's coverage of Trojan athletics. Make sure to check back next week. This has been Jack Boyce.
Thanks, Jack, and that's everything in this week's show.
We hope you'll join us next week for an exclusive sneak peek at Central's daycare program. This has been Front and Central with Fielding Schaefer
And Greg Haggerty. Have a great weekend, everybody.
and thanks for watching.